Hello everybody, this is Terry Lawton here in County Wexford, Ireland on the 16th of October 2016. Now this is a follow-up video to a video I uploaded to Facebook about a year ago entitled Ryanair Boeing 737 Delivery Pipe. This video has had almost 60,000 views, so it's attracted a lot of attention. Now I've had quite a few people contact me asking me how do I think these delivery pipes are being activated, because I didn't talk about this in the video at all. I just described in the video the fact that these pipes were fitted onto these 737 aircraft. I described the fact that there are patents going back 70, 80 years, US patents which describe fitting aircraft with pipes like this to spray into the hot exhaust fumes to catalyse and create artificially induced contrails or chemtrails. And by the way, all commercial airliners have these pipes. Aer Lingus has 3 pipes, the Airbus A320, but we're just concentrating on the Ryanair video here for now. So that's one single pipe there, as you can see. So my answer to that is that I don't believe that these pipes are activated by the flick of a switch in the cockpit or anything like that. I've seen pictures going around the net like that and all. I don't believe that's just a fake picture, but I don't believe that the pilots are flicking a switch. Why would they need to be involved? They're busy flying the plane. I believe that these pipes are activated from a central location, and I believe this central location is the Met Office headquarters in Exeter in England. And I have a very good reason to believe this, because I went down there to attend an open day in 2014, myself and a couple of other activists, and when we were entering the grounds we came across this sign, and it reads, this is a prohibited place within the meaning of the Official Secrets Act. So, thought that was very blatantly suspicious. Why would they have such a sign outside the Met Office? I mean, this is just some place to predict the weather. So anyhow, we went in and we went on a tour. We talked to the scientists in there, the meteorologists, and they were all very edgy when we talked about. We asked a lot of questions about geoengineering and chemtrailing and all that, and they all just wanted to change the subject. They were very nervous. I've got a video up online, visit to the UK Met Office if you want to look at it, and you can see how they react. But within this building is the world's most powerful supercomputer. This computer knows exactly what's going on in every square inch of the atmosphere worldwide. So if you want a computer to coordinate a global climate engineering program, this is the one for the job. And if you think about it, it's the only one for the job, because this is the most powerful atmospheric computer on the planet. And it would be the only one capable of carrying out or conducting such a program. So how do I believe this is being conducted? Well, let's say we're going to go over here now to, this is NASA World View. Let's say hypothetically, okay, we've got Europe here, we've got Ireland here. I don't know how you can make that out. Yeah. Okay, let's say hypothetically they wanted to spray in the middle of here for whatever, to fill in the cloud cover, or to fill in the blue space to create more cloud, or to connect these two cloud systems together to enhance the circuitry of the atmosphere or whatever. Let's say they just wanted to spray there for whatever hocus pocus weather modification magic they wanted to engage in. The Met Office supercomputer would see this, and what it would do is it would see what the nearest plane would be in that area, and then it would go and send a signal. So here's the Met Office supercomputer. It would transmit a signal to a satellite and back down to the plane, and it would activate the spray pipe. Very easy thing to do. So that's how I believe these pipes are being activated. Why would the pilot have any involvement? Just would not need to. And very easy thing to do. So people would often say, I've often had people ask, like, why would the Met Office be involved in weather modification? They wouldn't do such a thing, would they? Well, it so happens that here's the Met Office YouTube channel. they have expressed their knowledge and their interest in geoengineering. This guy is Jim Haywood, and he's the aerosol research manager from the Met Office, and here he is explaining what geoengineering is.
Geoengineering is a method to counterbalance the effects of global warming owing to the increased concentrations of atmospheric greenhouse gases.
Okay, I'm just going to skip forward and go on to 38 seconds into here, bear with me. Okay.
It's known as solar radiation management. Now, solar radiation management differs from carbon dioxide removal in that what you're trying to do is reflect an additional amount of sunlight back out to space. So solar radiation management is basically trying to reflect sunlight back out to space, leading to a cooling to counterbalance the increases in greenhouse gases. There's been various different solar radiation management schemes that have been mooted as being possible, all of which are basically trying to reflect sunlight back out to space. One of the most popular is to inject some reflected material into the stratosphere. This mimics really the impact of volcanic eruptions, which have been shown on the observational record to cool climate.
Now, Jim Haywood was in attendance at a climate engineering conference in Cambridge University last March, and I also happened to be there along with quite a few other activists. Here we go, here's a photograph. Myself, Harry Rhodes and Max Bliss and a good few other activists, only myself and Harry and Max and this guy here, I forget his name, we actually attended the conference. It was a 2-day conference, and we actually got chatting to Jim Haywood. Now, Jim wouldn't go on camera. I asked him would he be interested in doing an interview, and he said no, I wouldn't do an interview because yous will only try to catch me out. That's exactly what he said to me. Yous will only try to catch me out. How would we catch him out unless he was lying? The only way we'd catch him out is if he was lying. Now, we know the UK Met Office have killed people in the past conducting weather modification experiments. In the village of Lynmouth in 1952, the US, the RAF and the Met Office were conducting rainmaking experiments when the village was washed away, killing 35 people. And as you can see, the place looks like it was hit by an earthquake. There's a BBC Radio 4 documentary that you can listen to. It's called The Day It Rained, but it's up on my channel and my YouTube channel, and I've entitled it UK Met Office Kills 35 People in Rainmaking Experiments in Lynmouth. Now it's 33 minutes long, but I'm just going to go to a little excerpt. It's a little excerpt of it here, eyewitness report, or not eyewitness report, Met Office press release.
Thought we should discount any talk of rainmaking. And to make that even clearer, the Meteorological Office sent us this statement.
A look through the information held at the National Met Library suggests that the Met Office started some experiments in cloud seeding during the spring of 1955. However, the experiments did not prove particularly successful, and no experiments in weather modification, as it's known, have been carried out for many years.
So there's no doubt about it. Rainmaking experiments didn't even start until another 3 years after the flood.
Okay, this radio documentary would just blow your mind. You got eyewitness reports, you got accounts from pilots, logbooks, the pilots that actually went up on the spraying missions to spray the materials into the clouds, to cloud seed. Just amazing. This is like back in 1952. So, you know, the Met Office has been involved throughout history in weather modification experimentation. They've killed 35 people here, as this radio documentary talks about, and they are now expressing their interest in taking control of the Earth's climate. As I said, Jim Haywood was at this solar radiation management conference, and these guys are interested in it. You know, they're telling us that they're interested, but obviously they have been carrying out these programs for decades. And of course, a program And a climate engineering program so huge, a global program like this just could not be conducted without the knowledge, at least the knowledge of these people. So of course they are involved, and of course the supercomputer is conducting these programs. No, there's just no doubt about it. Going to go over, just going to finish the video with a Walt Disney science factual documentary from 1959, and in this documentary it describes a global climate engineering network of facilities, equipment around the planet to carry out weather modification programs, to be able to divert hurricanes and things like that. And in this documentary they talk hypothetically about a hurricane approaching the east coast of America, and all of these technologies are put into use. And there are HARP facilities like ionospheric heaters which are used, there are NEXRADs, there are space lasers. All of this stuff now, all the technology that exists now was all foreseen and talked about in this 1959 documentary. Absolutely amazing. We know that they were able to steer hurricanes in the 1940s in Operation Storm Fury, and we know that the history of weather modification just goes back as far as records take us. So I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to end the video with this, and I'm going to go forward about 15 minutes and 15 minutes and 12 seconds. Okay, so here we go.
Tomorrow. These future satellites will be the key to precise forecasting and control of weather. Let us project our present knowledge with a little imagination and speculate on how satellites might be used in future operations from a worldwide weather center.
Here's your Met Office headquarters.
This is master control room. Electronic maps and view screens display up-to-the-minute pictures of the weather around the Earth. Every hour, reports are automatically received from all points at sea, on land, and in the air. 22,000 miles out in space, 3 robot satellites train their sensitive television eyes on all parts of the Earth. These pictures are monitored on viewing screens in the Weather Center. Here in the computing room, electronic machines digest the constant flood of information received from all stations. This is then translated into an ever-changing diagram of the Earth's weather. Forecasts for every sector of the globe are made months in advance. Prediction charts have indicated that a powerful hurricane will begin forming today in the Atlantic Ocean. The electronic weather map shows an intense storm system building up about 1,000 miles due east of Miami, Florida. The controller calls for a close-up satellite view of the troubled area.
Coordinates. Coco 526, Yankee 2.5.
Okay, controller. Coco 526, Yankee 2.5.
The characteristic swirling clouds of the hurricane are beginning to form. At sea, the waves anticipate the violence to come. The controller calls for a last-minute prediction of the hurricane's path. If control measures are not begun at once, the hurricane will smash across densely populated areas within 48 hours.
11 a.m. EST. A hurricane is forming 960 miles east of Miami, Florida. If control measures are ineffective, it will pass inland at Cape Hatteras in 48 hours. Control operations will begin within 2 hours, but safety precautions should be completed from Cape Fear, north no later than 6 p.m. tomorrow.
At Weather Central, the control strategy is mapped out. A ridge of high pressure slants across the eastern United States between two low-pressure storm systems. If these two storm centers are intensified, the high will build up along the coast, forming a barrier that will turn the hurricane out to sea.
Stand by. Now pulling in satellite number 1 for visual check of low-pressure systems L20 and L21.
The operator brings the satellite into focus on the two storms. One centered over Kansas, the other over Labrador.
Changing the northeast wind low, L21.
With the touch of a button, the battle begins. On the ground, chemical cloud seeders begin to work the two storm areas. Robot planes seed the clouds from above. The storm centers over Kansas and over Labrador intensify as seeding continues.
Now changing over to Hurricane Center HA.
The fury of the hurricane mounts as 100-mile-an-hour winds lash the sea to a foaming frenzy.
All stations, Sector C. Activate Phase 2, Control Plan Delta. Set vapor rockets for 42,000 feet.
As an emergency measure, the controller calls for a salvo of vapor rockets to be fired ahead of the path the hurricane is predicted to take. These artificial clouds will block the sun from evaporating more water to feed the hurricane. The reports coming into the control center indicate that the diversionary cloud seeding over Kansas is now creating a flood danger. Specially equipped robot aircraft are dispatched immediately to release a high concentration of cloud seeding material into the fringes of the storm. Heavier seeding from the ground also helps to subdue the rain by spreading it over a wider area.
There's your next round ionization towers.
For another view of the hurricane, which has now moved closer to the coast.
Signal out on number 1 satellite. 10-minute direction for correction. Have you anything else in the area?
Satellite station S1 is approaching area. We'll make contact. S1, this is Weather Central. Request video signal at grid coordinates Coco.
An emergency situation has developed. In an orbiting space station 1,000 miles above the hurricane, a crewman sends a temporary picture back to Weather Central.
Okay, S1, your video is R5S5. Thank you.
The hurricane has stopped moving toward the coast, but is still intensifying. It must be made to move northward and out to sea. This is a crisis.
Aberdeen Station. Activate multiple seeding rockets on course 117.
The controller decides to fire cloud seeding rockets just ahead of the hurricane, hoping to start it moving. Slowly the hurricane begins to shift. All available forces have been brought into play. Now we can only watch and wait. attention, the turning point is reached. Latest reports indicate the control strategy is successful. At last, the high-pressure ridge has settled along the coast, forming an invisible wall of safety. The storm is over. The danger has passed. The hurricane has been defeated, turned away from the land, and left to spend itself harmlessly far out at sea. In the world of tomorrow, weather control will enrich and safeguard our daily lives. In the foreseeable future, we will conquer more than violent storms. We will turn the destructive elements of today into new sources of power, shaping the land on which we live. All mankind will benefit. Arid wastelands will be made green and fertile, and vast frozen areas will become productive. To this end, man-made satellites will probe the secrets of the skies. They will be our eyes in outer space.